why did you choose to go on a missions trip with Sims specifically?
I kind of chose Sims because, well, actually it was the day that you came into the lunchroom and you were talking about it, and I never really thought about doing it. I was like, oh, that seems really cool, and I was into a lot of that in high school and middle school, and I hadn't really gotten any of that community missions aspect in college. And so I was like, oh, I think that would be really fun. And then in addition to that, came the community of traveling with people your own age. And that really just brought a completely different aspect for Sims, I guess.
So you were signed up to go in 2020.
Yes.
So why did you decide to go ahead and go for 2021?
Well, I was kind of thinking would I ever be able to do this again? Because my future is going to be so busy. Like I said, I have my master's, I have track, and I planned on moving up north just to start my career. And I was like, I will never have this opportunity again, especially people who I know with and I have grown with over the past 4 years at SMU.
Since my calling to missions when I was in sophomore year, I really didn't know what to do with that, and I've always wanted to experience a missions trip. So when I saw Sims, I immediately applied. I was like, oh, this is new in missions. And then I heard that all the other students are involved, and it's just random pairing. I'm like, sweet, it'll give me the atmosphere of meeting new people and also working with different people as well.
So what were you most nervous about before your trip?
I think mine was feeling as if I didn't know enough about Christ to tell people about Christ.
Yeah.
So I kept thinking how can I teach the kids, because we were doing children's ministry, if I don't even know the stories we're going to be talking about. But then I kept thinking about it, God doesn't send you out into battle without your armor. So he will equip you even when you do not feel equipped. And so I just had to get it out of my mind. And then when we got there, it's it kind of just rolled off my tongue. It was something so simple and so easy that I didn't think I was able to do.
I went to Wasilla, Alaska, and I was most nervous about getting out of my comfort zone, especially whenever we learned that we were going on a camping trip in the middle of the Alaskan wilderness.
No water.
No water.
No electricity.
No electricity, no showers, no sinks. That was probably the most nerve-wracking, but it ended up being the best part of the trip, in my opinion. It really got me out of my comfort zone, and I realized a lot of things that God was trying to tell me through that, and just showing me that I don't need all of these things that I thought that I were necessities. And it gave me a lot of quiet time with God to really rediscover what He was trying to tell me in my life.
I think that we were I can do things I didn't think I could do.
Yes.
I guess for me, it's my first time ever on a plane and stuff like that. So and it's my first time ever actually doing something that exciting, I guess. And I was all oh, I don't think for some reason I don't think I'll be able to go. I just had a thought in my mind that it's set to go to Alaska, but I doubt for some reason there's gonna be something that's gonna hold me back from going. I bet.
Did you guys worry about money, raising money?
I did for sure for the Brazil trip, but it was so crazy because out of nowhere, my other half was filled really quickly when I found out we were going this year.
I definitely was, but then once I started doing it, once we were encouraged to do that, and I figured out people love to give for stuff like Sims, and they love to support you and get updated on your ministry.
Where did you see God on your trip?
I kind of saw him in multiple areas. So the church we were actually at had no kids, absolutely not a single child, and our goal was to do VBS. So we're all thinking, how are we going to do VBS with no kids? And so it's so crazy because the first day we had a little girl who has never left her mom's side, and she dropped off. She was just crying, bawling. By the next day, that little girl was begging her grandma, can I be there early? And by the end of the VBS, we had 10 kids. And it was so crazy because God provided in that instance where we didn't think we could even do it.
Working at Frontlines was really where I saw God work. Just a bunch of people who are have the same goal and want to provide for the same person basically, and make the same group of people, and just seeing how God has transformed them and I guess provided them with this opportunity to serve, and they're them just volunteering and stuff like that. It's just it was amazing. And yeah, the VBS program as well, that was really fun, and just seeing how small verses just one verse a day can impact the kids, and they can just be all excited about learning it and memorizing it and stuff like that. It was just, I saw God working through that. I really want to work with kids and youth and stuff like that. And I've like preached some sermons, but like I guess kind of like getting to like the children's department atmosphere, I guess, was really good for me.
Who should consider going on a trip, on a Sims trip?
Everyone.
Why?
Because I was personally a person who I had said my freshman year, I was like, oh, I could never do that. But then once I did it, I was like, oh, everyone should do this. Like, it is incredible. Even if that's way out of your comfort zone. Like, it's just an experience that I don't think you'll ever have again. Just getting to go to these great places and serve people. I just feel like that's something that you don't get very often. And so I think that everybody should consider doing it.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like anyone should honestly think about it. Just for the experience, but also you don't know, like, when you go, anyone you could impact. You could impact, like I said, one of the little girls at VBS or someone who was homeless. So, like, even if you think of it as like, oh, it's just a trip, it can be something that moves someone to closer to God.
Well, then that kind of leads me to like a question about you personally. Like, what do you not want to forget about your trip? What's the thing that kind of just has stayed with you? Even, you know, we're a couple months out so far.
Probably the relationship that I got from God, like drawing closer to God in that moment. And probably just because of the simplicity of, like, again, the camping trip. But even more than that, like just the whole period, I just felt like every day, like I was drawing closer to God and spending more time like in the Word and praying. And that was something that I haven't focused on in a long time. And so once I kind of got a taste of that, I was like, oh, I need to keep this up. Like, this is incredible. And so that's kind of something that I don't want to forget, like that experience of just drawing closer to God and having that feeling.
I feel like mine's more centered towards the state of Hawaii. We were actually helping some of the homeless, and we ran into a native who actually helps with the sea life. And he told me how so many tourists come in every day and no one is there to help. And how he's fighting for his daughter to have the same rights as a sea lion to have the rights to be treated fairly to their native land. And it was so crazy because people who come there do not come to help, or like they just come to sightsee or like litter, all that stuff. And it's how much the natives put into help, even though no one else is putting in to help them. So that's one of my biggest things I would want to keep with me, because anywhere you go, like, they all need help, even the smallest areas. So
And I think that's true about anywhere that you travel, whether you travel vacation or whether you travel for a mission trip, is to be sensitive and aware of where you're going and who lives there and what their culture is. I think that's one of the things that hopefully we emphasize in training, is to be very sensitive to the culture and be very sensitive to the people that are indigenous to that area.
I guess for me personally, there's a lot of things that I definitely don't want to forget, like the bus incident. That was one of the funny ones. But I guess
it turned out well.
yeah. On a serious note, I guess probably just like the impact we left, like all of us working as a team and like the VBS for that, because I was like, oh, I just came back from this station. I'm like, well, guess what? You're gonna have some more exciting things going on in this station as well. And they just keep moving on. It was just so fun. And then like also like whenever like we started like incorporating like the dancing after that, and like at first like I was like we're all kind of, I'm not gonna lie, I think we're all like kind of like reluctant about it. We're like, oh, we don't know if we should dance.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we just got out of our comfort zones, and like by the last day everybody was on the stage dancing. And I was just like, I think about that every now and then. I'm like, that was just so hilarious. We memorized the songs and the dance moves. It was just so hilarious. But I definitely don't want to forget that, because we brought like a lot of like excitement to the kids' lives because of the